1, 2, 3. Do you want someone who makes your voices heard, who understands and listens to your every word? Someone who can advocate for your community, someone who believes in equal opportunity.
Uncle Heshy.
Vote for Flappish Girl and Uncle Heshy. They're the best candidates for you and me. Together they'll bring peace and prosperity to the whole district of Brooklyn. Just you wait and see. Let's go down to all those voting booths. Every vote counts, yes, it's up to you. And vote for Flappish Girl and Uncle Heshy, the greatest district leader for you.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another Just Enough Heshy Show with my beautiful co-host, ST. Hello, how are you?
How's it going?
Okay, we got to talk about ST and Z. She's got
Z
some
today.
issues. We have ZZ. Hello, how are you? Yeah. And we have a special guest tonight. Z, I didn't hear you on the microphone, but okay. You're going to be meeting Blake Morris. He's a candidate for state senate. And he has got a lot to say. We got a lot of questions to ask him. He's running against Simcha. He's running against Simcha Felden.
Can you hear me at all?
Yeah, I hear you. In the 17th district. Is that correct?
That's correct. So welcome.
Good.
I'm excited to be here.
Great. So we got Blake, and we're going to ask him questions. You can ask him any questions. You can call into the show. 718-303-9090. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
And where else can they find us? They can click the link where?
On Facebook, Just Enough Heshy, or on YouTube, Twitter.
Twitter, we got that too. You can click the links, and it goes you right to our YouTube website. You can see the show live.
Wow.
Well, anyways, who's paying for the show, SD?
Yeah, we have Soft Fusion.
Not me.
That we know, Z.
Soft Fusion Inc. They are a software development company that has been helping people for 15 years make their business run better, and they help you with any software issues you might have. For a free consultation, you can call them at 718-215-9800. We have Orchidia. They are an amazing dairy restaurant. They have a buffet every day from 12 to 3, and it's all you can eat for only $25. Including coffee and tea and sushi.
Where they're located.
Right, I knew you were going to do that. 4815 12th Avenue.
He doesn't even really want to know. He just wants to test you.
I know.
That's
Come
what
on, why you
all about.
Because you forget the address every week. Go ahead, SD.
We have Pescata Carne. They are a wonderful meat restaurant. They have exotic dishes and a broad range of food.
I went there, by the way, on
Yeah?
Wednesday. I went Wednesday. You guys don't want to show up, so I go myself with my kids. We had a great time.
Whenever you want, I'll be happy to show up.
You got it. Go ahead.
For a free meal, I'm there.
Yeah. We got to take Blake with us. The Napoleon's melting him out.
Oh, that's okay. No, so this one's at 509 Avenue
real.
P. But Pescata, New York is located at 1776 Ocean Avenue, is dairy. That's the one that has the Napoleon.
And we just got them their public assembly so they can have big parties there at night and everything. They're a very cool place.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So, yeah, they also have a lot of delicious foods. And then we have Change Pain. If you have pain and you need someone to talk to, help lift your spirits, become a better you, awaken, so many different things. You can email me at changepain@gmail.com or call 347-687-9995. I would try to help deal with any emotional things you're dealing with and talk you through it and help you out.
Wonderful. We also have Chamula Jewelers. They're located at 944 Kings Highway. You can call them for a private appointment at 718-336-1980. Chamula Jewelers is a family-owned business for over 40 years, and specializing in diamond engagement rings, eternity bands, and diamond jewelry, or bringing your old jewelry to redesign and freshen up for a new look. Chamula Jewelers, they've got the sparkle for you. Again, visit them at 944 Kings Highway. You can make private appointments with them and call them at 718-336-1980. Blake, I ask everybody this question. Do you know what an eternity band is?
I do not know what an eternity band
Thank
is.
God, the first one that answered it truly, because we didn't know what it is, and people make it up. Anyways, we have Tehila Tishla at ttstyles.com, TEETEESTYLES.com. You can reach her at 718-675-6842. All your wigs, your hairstyles, your makeup. She does private appointments. 718-675-6842. Look at her website at TEESTYLES.com, or you can email her at TEHILA@TEETEESTYLES.com. Again, 718-675-6842. And of course, we have Green Line Building Solutions. We make your plans, your permits. We help you with stop work orders, vacate orders. We help you with code compliance. We go to court for your ECB violations, and we help you with certificates of corrections. We work with the owners and show them how to get compliance for their violations. We do expediting for the DOB, FDNY, and DEP. We do settlements for the Department of Finance and FDNY criminal tickets, and we specialize in evictions. And we can help you get your gas turned back on by National Grid and Con Edison if it gets shut off. Again, Green Line Building Solutions, located in Borough Park, Brooklyn, at 5318 16th Avenue, corner of 54th Street and 16th Avenue. Again, 5318 16th Avenue, or just call 718-871-0382 for private appointment. 718-871-0382. China Glatt. I love it. I went there. I did a commercial for them, Blake. They are located at 4413 13th Avenue. They have great menus. They have great sushi, great dishes across the board. You guys just go there. I'm telling you, I'm not even going to con you into it with their chicken dishes and their meat dishes and their
I've been
vegetarian
dreaming of their
dishes.
toast and their beef kebab. No, they have these little toast. I don't know what they are. The little toast triangle
Come to my
things.
house. I can make
Right.
you toast.
No, it's
Right.
not toast. It's better.
They're located at 4413 13th Avenue. You can reserve a table at calling them at 718-438-2576, or just look at their website at chinaglatt.com, CHINAGLATT.com.
Are we done with the ads?
We're done with the ads, but we're
Okay.
not done. Wait. Last week
You make him forget the quote of the
I'm
joke
sorry,
thing.
yeah,
He's gonna.
right.
I'm so anxious for this
Yeah,
episode
go
of
ahead
the
to
show. You
start.
don't even understand.
Well, we're going to start. First, you're going to let me do the quote. This quote
All right.
is for
We'll let him.
my boy over here, Blake, and this is what I want for him. Because I read some of his stuff, and I want to read you a quote of the day. Whether one believes in religion or not, there isn't anyone who doesn't appreciate kindness and compassion.
Amen.
Okay, and I believe that we're going to be speaking to a young guest over here today that we'll talk about it. Here's my joke for the day, and you can have a good laugh or don't laugh at it. My Blake, I don't care. Z never laughs at it. I have a guy. His name was Sam Solomon from once in New York, and he was in trial for doing something bad, and it was going on for 3 days. And Sam Solomon was accused of committing some crimes, and he finally got up. He says, and he approached the board, Judge, I would like to change my plea from innocent to guilty. The judge screams at him, bangs his fist. Mr. Solomon, if you're guilty, why didn't you say so in the first place and save this court a lot of inconvenience, he demanded. Mr. Solomon said, when the trial started, I thought I was innocent. After all the evidence that came in after me, I found that I was guilty. Okay.
How could he not realize?
Okay,
That was better than most.
It's a joke.
You got
Okay.
a half smile out of me.
We're gonna be talking to a gentleman who I'm running for office, as everybody knows, for a district leader of the 48th district.
Right.
And I just want to tell you something. I had a rough week last week, and this gentleman is going through the same problems. I went to the Board of Elections. I went court cases. Finally, I was put on the ballot, off the ballot, on the ballot. Finally, I'm back off the ballot after a long, rough week of me and
I thought anybody could get on the ballot.
you could, but they can always knock you off, and you're going to hear Blake, and you're not going to believe what Blake is going to tell you right now. You're going to be in shock.
I thought you could vote for Mickey Mouse.
No,
if
you
want to.
can't. You can't.
Only
And
for
Blake is going to
president?
explain to you. But after I got back on the ballot, I had to go to 2 events, and at one of my events, I did meet my competitor, and I complained a little bit to him. He complained a little bit to me, and he said, "Listen to me. This is not right. We're 2 Jewish boys from Brooklyn. I want you to have achdus. And there was a lot of people around us, and we've decided that we are not going to make this into a Mickey Mouse race. We're not going to be making fun of us. 2 grown men. He's a father of a young baby, and I'm a father of 3, and we're men that serve our community for many years. Whether you like what we do or not, or you like our past or not, we are not going to fight. We're going to put up our posters. We're going to say things about ourselves only, and we're not going to knock the other one. We're going to hold our community together, and it's your decision on September 13th to come out and vote for me." Yes,
Thursday.
Thursday, because something with September 11th on Tuesday, so they pushed it off to Thursday. I want you to come out. It's a one-time election. I want to see a lot of people come out there. I want you to come out for Blake as well. I am personally, I'm not. I don't know if Blake wants my endorsement, but I've seen a lot about him. I've
might hurt
spoken
you.
to him. Right, it might hurt you, Blake. I'm sorry, but I like him, and he's on the streets. He's going to tell you about himself. Blake Morris, just for your knowledge, he's lived in this community. He's married. He's lived in Dippersmark for over 20 years. And I want you to. Blake also likes to improve New York families. This is what he stands for. He stands for affordable housing, healthcare, and this is what he writes in his thing: hope. and I love when he write Blake.
The last time we had somebody that ran on hope, it didn't really work out.
Okay, it makes no difference.
Who
But
was that?
I
Somebody.
I like that he says that he believes in the future, he believes in hope, and he believes things will get better. And Blake, welcome to our show.
Well, thank you. I finally have a chance to talk.
Finally have a so well, we
Should
want
just came in at 9:10.
by the way, guys, I want you to know Blake's family has been here since the 1800s. So
Wow.
he's
He's
here.
the
You're a real
original.
New Yorker.
He's
Okay.
he's a lawyer. He's intelligent. Blake, first of all, tell us a little bit about you. Why are you? I mean, everybody asks me the same question. Are you just crazy, Heshy? People insult you for no reason. People just, last week I was giving out food to the poor. I've been doing it for. I don't even want to tell you before I had here, you know what I mean? And I've been doing it for years, and I was doing it, and I showed it to Esty, and after I finished packaging the boxes, they took pictures of me. And one guy comments, he says, "Look at Heshy stealing food from the poor." I sent it to Esty because they saw me, instead of putting it in, they thought I was taking it out. And I sent it to my wife. I said, "My God, it just doesn't end."
Welcome to the media.
Thank you so much. Fake
2018.
news.
Yeah,
So, Blake, tell
very
us
easy to do.
what's wrong with you? I mean, we're going to.
Why would you go through this? Basically, why would you?
And tell us a little bit about your platform before we start.
Well, thank you. So I've been in New York City since 1984. I'm the son of a traveling salesman, so Z can make tons of jokes about that. And I was living my life at Ditmas Park for almost 20 years. And what happened was Simcha Felder happened. The 17th Senate District happened. Senator Felder got elected in 2012, and the day after the general election, he said, "You know what? Even though I ran as a Democrat and I didn't say anything about anything, I'm just going to be conferencing with the Republicans, and I'm going to throw the balance of power of the state Senate into the control of the Republicans and really screw up the Democratic Party, not allow progressively passed legislation from the state assembly to go anywhere. So that all this great legislation to reform the state, to move the state forward, will just go to the state Senate to die." And I said, "All right, fine. Somebody will run against him in 2014, and we'll be done with Senator Felder."
Nope.
And nobody ran. No one ran in the primary. Nobody ran in the general. I said, "Okay, all right. There's 2016. I'll just wait, and someone else will run in the primary and in the general, and then nobody ran." And then came 2017, and I looked around and I said, "Well, who's going to run in 2018?" I looked.
And you looked in the mirror and you said, "Me."
Well, actually, no, I looked in the mirror and I said, "Not me. Not me. Let's find someone." Actually, I should have called Heshy. So,
Go ahead.
if I had Heshy's phone number, I would.
So hold on. So you're running for Senate?
I'm running for state
Senate.
senate.
State
For state
Senate.
senate. So
These are
nobody.
the guys that make the legislation.
I
These are the
understand.
guys
I know.
who run the state, who actually
know.
are supposed to make things happen, and
make
it keeps
things
getting
better.
right, and it doesn't.
They make things better,
So
and,
what's
and
your-
nobody ran.
What's
And
your
so
previous political experience?
I have zero political experience.
I love
No,
that.
I have
Gotcha.
zero political
But at
I
least
just
you're
like
not-
his attitude in general.
But at least you're a lawyer and you're educated. You're not, let's say, bartender or somebody that decided.
could be a bartender.
You could be.
I mean, I would not.
I'm a
describe it.
bartender.
Gotcha.
Oh,
No,
Esther, you're a
Because
bartender?
I happen to
Yeah.
know, somebody else who's running for Senate who was a bartender, and apparently they're like the greatest thing to ever happen in the entire country in a matter of weeks, from being a bartender to like the savior
Is that the
of
socialist one?
politics. Yes.
Oh, I was gonna be like,
I'm not a
bartenders,
huge
go.
fan of her. I'm just letting you know that.
Well, we're going to ask Blake
Per-
about
per
it,
se.
but in the meantime, Blake, tell us
Yeah.
about some of your platforms that we understand that Simcha Felder, that you never hear from at all, right? Am I correct?
I don't even know what he looks like.
Right.
Why do you think nobody ran against him? That's my question. Is it because they figure he just has it locked up because he's?
Well, I don't know. Maybe because he runs as a Democrat and also Republican and also as a conservative
So you got
and
all the
also
bases covered.
as an independence party line. So he's running on 4 party lines, but that's not good enough for him because he actually tried to knock me off the ballot. when I was on trial on
But why?
Thursday.
But
No,
why
I
would
think
he-
everyone should at least be given a fair
No,
chance.
according to
you
Simcha
know.
Felder, he's not allowed to. He went after Blake on a technicality, on a form issue. I mean, he
Don't
just-
you want to win and like win right and not feel
Correct.
like you just? I don't like that.
I think he just
Like,
wants
just
to.
taking out competition is not good
I think he just
sportsmanship.
wants to win all 4 party lines, and I guess he didn't like my name. The man doesn't like my name.
Now-
I'm
now-
Blake.
Has he done it to like anybody's opposed, or just nobody ever
No,
has?
it's not the first time. That they say it's standard procedure, and he takes this guy Frank Sedio from the Democratic Party, and they just go after anybody that doesn't agree with them or won't stand in line. This guy Frank Sedio is like a mobster or whatever, and he just goes after and hires these big law firms and attacks these us for no reason. And he just comes up. But Blake, I want to ask you a question. How much money did you raise for your election?
We were in the first filing, we raised over $40,000 in about 6 weeks.
And then afterwards,
and we have a filing coming up August 9th now.
But you raised it person by person.
Person by person, no.
Like a grassroots on the streets.
Not grassroots, it's grass seeds.
Grass seeds. Okay, even better. Sure.
But Blake, what I hear is Simcha Feld has over $400,000 and $600,000 in his campaign fund.
Yes, he got. Actually, Senator Felder raised almost no money the first 5 years in office. He had not one person gave him a penny. Not one person. He didn't have one campaign expenditure. And then in the previous filing, he raised roughly around $50,000. But in the last 60 days, he raised $430,000.
You should be flattered. He felt threatened a little bit.
That's U.S. dollars.
But
he should be flattered. He felt a little bit threatened.
It gets very interesting.
Yeah.
He has not raised. If you look at his filing, he has not raised any money from any regular person. Where did he get this money from, Blake?
Right.
Well, most of the money came from the Real Estate Board of New York, which is the largest landlords in the city. So not the people who rent out the one half side of a 2-family house, or the 3-family house owner, or the 5 unit apartment building. They were talking about the largest, the most luxurious real estate owners.
Gotcha.
So they gave him $20,000 directly. And John Flanagan, he's made this Faustian bargain with the Suffolk County Republican who controls the Senate, gave him $11,000. And Century 21, one of my favorite department stores.
Oh, not anymore.
Well, we'll have to be more careful. Gave him over $10,000.
Unrelated topic.
I'm not finished yet.
No, I'm saying it's getting back to this. I just want to get your thoughts on it after. I just want to get it in while we're talking about it. We were actually discussing this a couple months ago, how it's such a fine line between bribery and campaign donations, and I couldn't for the life of me understand how that even works, where basically a company or a person is like, here's money, but nothing in it for me, but by the way, here's lots of money, and then magically later on when they're in power, they come along like, hi, remember me, and how it's such a fine line between actual bribery and what we just consider regular campaigning.
It should be just like a platform, like, hey, you want to see who the candidates are? Each one gets to make a video online, and you don't push it in people's faces unless they're looking to see who to vote for. They just
Anyways, guys, you can call into the show. You can ask Heshy, Esty, me, or Z, or Blake any question you want. 718-303-9090. And again, we go with any topic.
I had a question
but Blake,
though.
all this money he got. So basically, you're telling me he's getting big money from big
corporations with bloated state contracts and the real estate lobby.
And that's it. And he doesn't really get none of the but why do all the people vote for him then?
Well, I don't know. Well, first of all, no one's ever had a choice. He's been running as a Republican. He's been basically a turncoat Democrat and been running as a Republican for almost 6 years. And he's never had an opponent. When I met with him for the one time that we had a 90-minute interview, which is recorded, which is on my website, Blake Morris for StateSenate.com, and also on my Facebook page, Blake Morris 17. He says I must have been doing a good job because no one's ever run against me.
Does he ever stand for anything? I mean, what was this legislation that he passed that's so great and that you're not happy with?
He hasn't really passed any legislation.
He hasn't passed any legislation.
And he's very active in killing legislation, but he hasn't actually passed anything.
What's your platform? I think that's what everybody wants to know.
So my platform is housing, healthcare, and hope. So basically, we want to create a lot more housing. There is a Bay Ridge
affordable housing.
There's a Bay Ridge freight line that runs through Sunset Park and Borough Park and Midwood, and we could actually
just sitting there empty, basically.
Well, there's one freight train a day, and we could actually and this train line's in a 20-foot open cut.
Yeah,
and we could actually deck over, so put like a little ceiling over the freight cut, and we actually could build housing over it. So we could actually build tens of thousands of units of affordable housing in the neighborhoods that people currently live in. So you can actually get new housing more housing that's cheaper and not
Yeah, but-
move out of your neighborhood.
What about change the zoning where we could build up more and everybody can make
Hold on. You don't think these neighborhoods are already crowded enough? You're going to put tons of affordable housing units already in Bay Ridge and Sunset Park where you can't even breathe or park a car, and you're going to put in like 20 more families per block? I mean, how is that
Well,
going
it's
to
going
work?
to be a lot more than 20 families per block, but people need the housing. And Z made a good point because there is a lot of congestion.
Yeah.
But what's the beauty of building over the freight line is that there's plenty of space down there. We could actually run streetcar service on the existing railroad tracks.
But wouldn't that cost a lot of money?
This sounds like a huge tear up of like half of Brooklyn basically to make all that work.
Actually, very little because the cut already exists. The cut's owned by the Long Island Railroad, which is part of the MTA. There wouldn't be a lot of requirement of capital infrastructure. We could actually connect the subway lines.
Can I make a prediction?
Yes.
So if the MTA decides they want to do this, so they'll start in 2018 and they'll finish in, let's say, 2070. Is that an accurate prediction for the?
Well, you know what?
You want them to run?
It depends who's in the state senate, doesn't
Right.
it?
Well,
So another reason to get Blake Morris elected to Senate District Number 17 to get me elected, so that we can actually get the MTA to get their act together.
What about school?
that would be something I would be behind. Believe me.
Before we take it, we're going to
I
take
think most people would.
We're going to take a call,
Yeah.
but before we take a call, Blake, I have an issue with drugs of young children that we don't have enough drug rehab centers in our places, aftercare or pre-K school programs, which the state senate is not giving us money for our people. Or if somebody makes more than $10,000 or the school's more than $10,000, these schools cost $30,000, $40,000. They don't get funding. What are you going to do about young parents that have these kids that have to run home at 2, 3 o'clock, where the state senate should be concentrating on drug rehab, should be create youth centers? Why are little young boys coming to my house, 15, 18 years old, sitting on the street? We have nowhere to put them or take care of them. Where is that money? I'm sure there is money there that nobody cares about.
Well, there is money there, but you're not going to get it because Senator Felder voted against all that money.
Did you hear this, Z? Did you just hear this?
I'm sure there's a little bit more to it than that, but I'm not going to lie and say that I know about that issue particularly, so I don't want to really comment, but
And
We'll, take your word for it.
Heshy's right. We actually can do the funding to accommodate families, accommodate children, so people can live their lives, so the parents can actually work a full work day.
Thank you.
So the parents can actually go to work. They don't have to worry about their child, because really, even though it's their child, we're all responsible for them.
Thank you.
We are in a
Wow,
community.
here's a boy that
Right.
actually is finally telling you the way it is. We have to work with our neighbors and so on.
Yeah.
Now, there's a program
Wait,
called the
okay.
AFED that SD is for, I'm against. He wants to get into these shivas and private schools and put in special education, sex education. You're right. He
He
wants
did not say any of that. All he
Yes.
wanted was that they should have history, math, science, just like basic things at a
and
higher
other
level.
stuff in
And they
public
should be able
school.
to get a GED, I mean a high school diploma, so that they can go to college and not come out empty-handed.
Do we mix into private schools their education that's following the basic Board of Educations, or do we have to supervise them and stand there and whatever it is and watch them and tell them that if you don't do it, you lose all your funding? Shouldn't we let the private schools do what they're doing right now and be good with it, not mix it?
isn't that the whole point of a private school, is that they can kind of do what they want and not
But they
force
still
it
have
down
to
their
take the
throats?
SATs, no? Isn't that
No, if
mandatory?
they want to go to college, that's something different.
Exactly. So
They have
actually,
to take the, what do you
Let-
call it,
just
to
regents.
prove that they're learning
Regents?
something.
Let Blake answer it.
All right. Okay.
so basically, the state constitution breaks up education as for public schools and non-public schools. So what Z is saying is calling private schools, the law actually refers to as non-public schools. So public schools, they have a very robust, broad educational requirement, but for non-public schools, there's a minimal educational standard. And if you actually
Right.
looked at the minimal educational standard, it truly is minimal.
That's a
And-
joke.
So
But that's what they want.
Yes,
Well,
the
actually,
parents
some of them
that,
want.
leave it alone.
So basically, the current law is that non-public schools should have a minimal standard of reading, writing, and arithmetic, so that the graduates can actually
Contribute to the world, yeah.
contribute to the world. They can actually write a letter, and
Yeah.
they can actually add up some numbers, like can have like a restaurant bill up. But Senator Felder actually doesn't even want the minimal standards.
But
He
you have to
wants
understand,
no
it's not
standards.
just because he doesn't like education. It's because that's what his constituency wants, and they want more of a religious focus, and they consider that to be something that they literally don't want. It's
Well,
not because they don't care about education.
They have to be able to basically
Well, actually,
function.
You would hope, but that's what they want.
Actually, you have to listen to which Senator Felder that you want to listen to.
Hmm.
One Senator Felder says what you just said, but the other Senator Felder says that 97% of all yeshivas do way more than the minimal educational requirements.
It's the really hardcore right wing ultra Hasidic.
So if
They're the
90,
ones that
so
don't-
according, I mean,
yeah.
no one else has any numbers, but since Senator Felder seems to have a monopoly on all
I
those
know next to
statistics.
nothing about local
Basically,
politics.
Senator
That's the thing.
Felder,
I don't really know.
Senator Felder keeps his mouth shut. SP, take a call for us.
I
right?
want to
Let's-
know about the landlords, like what they want to like.
We'll get to the next
Okay.
one. Let's take one phone call at least. Let him talk about it.
Do we have a phone call?
Yeah.
We're doing, sure.
Hello,
Yeah,
you
we
listen,
have-
you're on
we
the
have
air with
millions
Uncle
of
Heshy
listeners.
Z and
They're
Blake.
all waiting on.
We can make fun. Hello, hi. You're on the air with Heshy and Z and Blake Morris for State Senate.
Heshy, it's kind of 2 days after the speed cameras were turned off. And I think Blake was for keeping them on. A 57-year-old woman at PNE 16th was killed, hit and run, killed. Now, before getting rid of them, there had been a bill proposal struck down that would have doubled the number of speed cameras around Brooklyn. I think Mr. Morris would have liked that. Now, in other cities, real fast, like Portland, they've placed good laws. Roads are closed. People can walk, skip, unicycle, or certain days of the week in like Vermont towns, they can only ride horse and buggies. And cars are actually modified accordingly. Now, Felder wanted a deal that would have traded more speed cameras from armed cops in schools. And I'm for safety in the streets and safety in schools. But I wanted to ask Mr. Morris, what are his thoughts on helping more traffic laws in Brooklyn help the streets even more become more congested and slower? Like, what can we do to help slow things down?
Thank you for your call. Blake, what do you got to say about that?
Well, actually, I think the first thing we need to do is get me elected because Senator Felder actually. So basically, for the other listeners who don't know the background, New York City has a program that ended had a 5-year program that ended last week because they had a sunset provision in it, and the state assembly had passed a renewal of New York City speed safety cameras. That bill went to Simcha Felder's city's committee in the state Senate, and even though there were votes in that committee for the bill, Felder would not release it out of his committee. And because he's made this Faustian bargain with Flanagan for Flanagan to be the leader of the Senate, Flanagan would not discharge that bill because there were votes for it on the floor. So the first thing we can do is actually get that law back. We can restore that law. And that speed safety camera law gave a grace of 10 miles per hour. So you could drive up to 35 miles per hour during a school day in front of a school and still not get a ticket. In most areas of the country, they actually reduced the speed limit to 15 or 20 miles per hour.
Yeah, but most places don't have
Gotcha.
schools every 2 freaking blocks. That's
Well,
another thing.
a lot of urban areas actually do have schools, and they actually do make
But Blake, I
restrictions.
do.
It's not
so
like
this
it
is
is here.
but
It's
Blake,
every- it's every
that's
block.
but those speed cameras, I've gotten a ticket going at 30, and when they reduced it to 25, I agree with you that you should give me a grace of 10 miles, but I don't believe those cameras are giving us the grace.
Wait, we believe in cameras? Why is someone monitoring what actions we do wrong so they can make money out of us?
Speeding, yes.
No, I'm sorry. You can't trick us into like, oh, let's find more ways to like find you guilty and take your money. That's
basically what New York politics is.
yeah, but that's like taking away people's like rights and choices.
Well, I want to ask Blake about something. In our neighborhood where we live, you and me,
Cool.
Borough
Is the
Park,
caller still
Flapper-
on the phone, by the way?
No, I hung up
Well,
on
I
him.
just wanted to say, like, do we have a long-term pattern of actually following the difference in, fatalities on the road, or is it just in reaction? Oh my God, we shut off the cameras and a person got killed, so the whole system is crazy.
Actually, we do.
We need to actually see.
Actually, fatalities dropped 26%.
But they also lowered the speed limits. Is it because of the cameras?
No,
or because of the limits?
even before the speed limit dropped, because the speed safety cameras were in effect before the citywide speed limit.
I'm saying, but now that they've been in effect for a while and people know about the lower speed limits, and they know about everything. I think we need a little bit more time to really measure the data, not just a reactionary. A person got killed after we shut off the cameras, so we have to have the cameras back up immediately. Just seems a little bit I don't know. There's some
It just
places
makes
I
it-
agree for the cameras.
It's
What's
for-
if I had a horse and buggy that can go past 25 miles per hour? Then I shouldn't be going. Like then
I
they'll
see.
put a license on me and
Don't
ticket me.
drive it in
Like,
Brooklyn.
what was the
okay?
point of a
Well,
car
actually,
if
if
we're gonna
you-
go slow?
Well, two things. One, the horse and buggy would have a license plate if it went more than 35 miles per hour.
Yeah. You wouldn't be
It
able
would,
to put it on the street.
it would actually get its license plate.
I just
But
want-
What's the
also,
point of
but
cars?
the good sign is if your horse you had a horse that was going more than 35 miles per hour, you can make a lot of money.
For the record, I'm inclined to agree with you in some aspects because I feel
about
like
the horse.
definitely not. But I agree that a school zone should be slower, and that I would even be
That's
down
it.
with
The
going.
Ocean
But
Parkway? Are
exactly.
you
So that's
kidding
one thing
me?
that really upset me when they lowered the speed limit on Ocean Parkway to the same because people that run this city they don't actually think about the actual reality of life. They just go, hey, 25 miles an hour and just
Right.
put it everywhere.
Yeah, but like,
It's insane.
They just make up rules.
On
that-
side streets, absolutely, I'm okay with that because it is hard to actually go faster than 25, 30 safely on these little side streets, especially there's double parked cars, there's trucks, there's schools. But the fact that they decided to just like 25 everywhere, and you have Ocean Parkway, which is basically a highway. Have you ever actually driven 25 miles an hour? You feel like you're going backwards.
I actually
It's
just don't press the
impossible.
gas.
It's
It just
insane.
goes by itself the
and
entire
it's such
time.
a safe thing. Also, they go, oh, people got killed in Ocean Parkway. Honestly, if you see the way Ocean Parkway is built, if anybody got killed as a pedestrian on Ocean Parkway, it's because they were irresponsible. There's literally like 5 feet of grass median and a curb between the street and the sidewalk, and there's clearly marked intersections. And anybody that got hit by a car is because they were in the wrong place at the wrong time.
So what happens?
It's nuts.
So what happens? The Ocean Parkway is dangerous for pedestrians,
Why?
cyclists, and
Why pedestrians?
actually mainly motorists. It's a very
It's a straight line.
because the lanes are very narrow.
What does that have to do with
There's
pedestrians?
They're substandard, and what happens is that when it's high volume traffic, very closely packed together. So when somebody makes an error, and some people do make an error, that does happen. I know Z makes no errors. You ever make an error?
Never
Z?
in my entire
Never.
life.
So for Z, maybe we have an exemption for you. Maybe we have the
I
Z
do already.
exemption.
We're going to take one more call before we
No,
do
hold on.
something
Let me-
else.
I'm-
So,
I wanna hear-
we got to
I want to hear
that.
that the rest of what he's
Okay.
saying, but I want to understand it.
So basically, what happens is because it's dangerous for everyone, pedestrians, cyclists, and
But
motorists.
what are the pedestrians
Okay.
that are on the median, not
Well, no,
nowhere near
when they're
with the
crossing
lanes,
when they're crossing the street and
against the
also-
light?
No, they're just crossing the street because there are so many cars, and also cars run the red light, and so it's just too fast for pedestrians. But the other problem is a thing called ricochet.
Right. So how many?
So when cars at a higher velocity of speed collide with each other,
right.
they have and there's a lot of people who are sitting
Is that
and
what-
strolling on Ocean Parkway.
Is that what was a common occurrence at Ocean Park when the
part-
speed limit was 35?
part of the problem? So
I don't remember
So
that.
no matter what you do in Ocean Parkway, now
Yeah.
one of the things we could do is that very few people know about this. Is actually a sealed up trolley tunnel underneath Ocean Parkway at Church Avenue.
How
Well-
would they get there?
So one of the things we can do is actually open up that trolley tunnel as a pedestrian and
Yeah, but people
cyclist
like to walk,
underpass.
like with the the trees around them
Yeah.
or whatever.
Well,
I
they
think
can
that's
walk
part
under
of
the
what Ocean
well,
Parkway.
just for the intersection portion.
I-
They can walk under.
I don't remember there being a lot of people that were killed just sitting on the side of Ocean Parkway because of accidents.
Quite a few, actually.
Straight line.
Let Blake get to the Senate. We'll fight. Take another call,
Yes.
SD. Hello, you're on the air with Heshy, STZ, and Blake. Talk to us.
Yeah, hi. I just wanted to say something that may not be politically correct, but
I like it.
Shut off your radio, please,
I
because
like
we hear the echo.
okay. Do you hear me now?
Yeah, you still have the echo, but go ahead.
Okay, so basically, I personally believe that anyone who's going to be running under the Democratic line, I could never vote for. I don't believe they have the backbone or the they can stand up to most of the policies that the Democratic Party now are promoting.
Well, if you don't run as a Democrat, you're not going to win. I mean, as you can see from anybody, nobody wins unless you're, even if Blake has a different opinion, but I'm going to let him answer that. You have to run as a Democrat or you're not going to be
But I
elected.
think
at
what
all.
he's saying is that the Democrats have gone so far left now that the middle of the road, normal so-called people, just they kind of get caught in the crossfire and they have to,
Well, Blake is going
cater
to
to the
But
left with
what
everything.
I'm actually
True.
saying is, you see what's going on in Congress between the Democrats and the Republicans, that nothing can get done because at this stage the Democrats are doing nothing but trying to undermine
wherever laws or whatever.
No, you see what you're saying is wrong. You have to get rid of a guy like Schumer, who says he's a Democrat. He's an idiot.
That's the point.
That's my point.
Right.
Get another Democrat to replace him. Get another Democrat to replace him.
Like Schumer, who is standing in the way of progress, and no matter what policies are brought forward, he is against it.
It's all party line. Exactly.
And same way with Nadler. You got to get rid of a guy like Nadler.
I have a lot of respect to Simcha Felder, who is allegedly a Democrat, but he will vote according to his conscience. And that's what I want.
Well, let's hear what Blake has to say about it.
Very well said.
Thank you, caller.
What's the caller's
Blake,
first name?
I didn't ask him.
Caller, you're still on?
No, we knocked him off.
Oh, we knocked him off?
But you tell us, Blake.
We'll call him caller.
You heard
We'll call him caller?
You heard what he said, Blake.
Yes.
I won't vote for you because even if you have some policy, you're a Democrat.
I have two things. Oh, Heshy, you are excellent. I have two things to say. So one is that there's a national Democratic Party and there's a state Democratic Party, and they're really not even connected. So I'm running for state senate. I am a New York Democrat.
But once you're in the big leagues, you're all tied together.
Not really. No, the state party is not really connected to the national party. So whatever your issues are for the national party happening in Washington, you can have those issues that really are not connected to what's happening up in Albany.
But you'll get pressured into voting what they tell you to vote if you're part of the party. That's what it feels like nowadays. It's like a lot of people.
Like it's hard to pressure you because it's two separate parties, really. And the caller, because Heshy, he didn't do your job. You didn't get his name.
Yeah, I know.
It reminds me of what President Harry Truman said: "If you want to live like a Republican, vote Democrat."
Wow.
But that was 60 years ago. Now look at the Democratic Party. It's not. It's so far left.
Let's now ask Blake a couple opinions.
Yes.
Trump, what's your opinion?
I will let Robert Mueller do my talking for me.
Wow. Really?
Yes.
I like Trump.
I'll also let him do my talking for me. And here we are 2 years later, and there's nothing going on.
There's nothing going on.
It's great.
I
love it.
You're wasting tens of, $40 million already, and nothing has been done.
Not even close.
Well, we'll just wait.
What things do you want to put on?
Why are you wasting my time? Why are you wasting my money? Let's either end it. I mean, come on. How if people go to trial after 2 years?
Here's my better question.
On trial for 3 days. It's all over.
Here's my better question.
Here we're 2 years in.
Right now, the economy is doing so well. Why would you wake up in the morning and be like, I have to go and do whatever it's going to take to stop this, to bring this down? Like, even if you didn't like the guy, even if you think he colluded this or that, why not just sit back and just right now things are working out well? Why would anybody want to stick a fork in that?
Because you're worrying about the future and not dealing with just like now it's okay.
But it's right now everything in the country, aside from what the media is telling you, we're basically in civil war and Russia, whatever. The country itself, factually, economically, and unemployment and the growth rate, everything is doing so well. Whatever he's doing, even if you didn't like him, you have to at least respect the fact that things are working out well, and you have to give him some credit for that.
So should a speeder get a ticket?
100%.
Exactly.
If he gets caught, yeah.
Exactly. I think you answered the question.
But I'm saying, if somebody's on their way to do something good, I wouldn't particularly put a cop there to try to catch him. Right. That's what I'm saying. It depends on what the guy's intents are.
So allow the investigation.
I'm all for the investigation, but I was for the investigation in 2017, and now we're almost getting to the third quarter of 2018, and we have no progress at all. We have Manafort, and we have nothing's happening.
We have quite a few guilty pleas already. We already sent,
but nothing related to collusion.
Right. And you're finding stuff on other people that's just foolish. You're just trying to get people in trouble.
He interrogated, the madam of just like we're so off the center of what the topic is supposed to be with collusion. Like nobody even knows what's going on.
Don't you want the man's name cleared?
I would love it.
There you go.
I
want the same thing too.
I thought you're innocent of proven guilty.
You are 100%.
Let them. Yes, exactly. So, but no, that's a presumption.
Let them.
That's a presumption at trial.
It's insane.
But that's a presumption at trial. So now there's all these rumors and innuendo. Let's clear his name.
We're trying, but they're not letting.
Let's talk about some of the big issues.
What's supporting the Dream Act?
Before you go that, I want to ask him another question. This is one that Z always likes. What's your opinion on Israel?
Yeah, that was going to be my next one.
I support Israel.
In what way?
In every way possible. As a child, we gave charity to Israel. We planted trees. My family has visited Israel. I personally have not visited Israel yet.
But you have no problem with the state of Israel, with what they're doing over there, and how they protect themselves.
I don't get involved with their domestic politics.
Yeah, I was wondering, that's not a Senate's
Good.
job?
Exactly.
or-
New York
want you to hear that,
City and
but
New York State.
he's
New York
not-
has enough issues.
He's not dope.
He's like,
hunting,
I
and
don't have
that's
no
what I
problem with
wanna
Israel. I don't know what they're doing. I hope they're doing good things, but it's not really my. Yeah, no.
But
That's
the
it.
problem
That's
is that in the position that you're going to be in, that is going to be something that's going to come down the pipeline. And the problem is that if you do actually care and support and love Israel, if you look at what 90% of the people that are against Israel, and this is just the reality, again, it's not something that I'm making up. At the end of the day, most of these people are on the left these days, and definitely the Democratic Party. And that's another reason why, a lot of the Jewish people that started off, because everyone's Democrat, you have to be Democrat if you're Jewish, they're starting to slowly wake up to the fact that the left, if you're actually pro-Israel, is actually becoming more poisonous for Israel than the right ever could dream of, because they actually get respected, they get a voice for it. As opposed to these crazy nutjob neo-Nazis on the right that nobody listens to, everyone thinks is nuts, they don't even get voted. On the left, you have people that are actually like this woman that we're talking about in the Bronx. I don't even like saying her name, honestly. Like, she doesn't even know what she's talking about, and the next thing you know, she's running around and she's the head of the party, and she's butting up with Sarsour and all these people. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah, Blake, what is your opinion on her?
I mean, you're not a socialist,
You got to have an opinion on her.
Her opinion is that she ran against a congressman that was elected in 1998.
Yeah.
Never had an opponent, and was living in Virginia full time and raising his family. And nobody bothered to ask or figure out what was going on. And then last year sometime, when the reporters finally got around to it after 20 years, asking him, why do you live in Virginia when you're a congressman from Queens? He said, because the life quality is better in Virginia.
Oh, he's right.
Wow.
So when you say things like that, don't be surprised.
What does that have to do with her, though?
Don't be surprised that you lose an election when you say
First
things
of all,
like that.
Can I ask some questions?
He was basically just going to get voted. He thought he was just going to get voted in again.
Yes,
easily.
He
didn't even
did.
try. So the problem is with this woman.
He actually did try, because he spent almost $1 million on
it was
TV
like a given.
advertising.
He didn't really try the way he should have.
$1 million on TV.
$1 million.
This woman,
$1 million.
This woman, she got, what was it?
Heshy, tell your advertisers spend $1 million on Heshy's radio show.
She got 4%. So few people cared about that election. She got a grand total of, I think, like 4 to 8% of registered voters.
Wow.
In the whole county or whatever, some tiny number. And now she's like the head, like she's basically like the celebrity of the it's mind-boggling. She has nothing. She has no history with politics. Nothing. She's a bartender.
Let us go. But before Esty goes, one more question from him, and then this is one of my favorite questions that I ask all the time. Guns. Tell me, please. I'm against it. I can't take it. Every day I see a shooting. Every day I work in the projects. I see it. I smell it. I see the cops.
Did you hear what happened in Chicago this weekend?
Makes no difference. I want guns to stop. Yeah. I can't take it. What's your opinion on guns?
I want reasonable gun control, and we want to have a safe environment. We don't want people to have to worry when they either leave their house or leave their residence, and they think they're going to be gunned down, or their child will be gunned down. And you certainly don't want to be in public and having the possibility of gun violence.
I just thought of a great idea. They should have a fingerprint, so only the person who owns the gun can keep it.
They do have that, and that's something, that's something is an issue. And so we actually, New York State's amazing. Of the 50 states, New York State is one of the lowest per capita gun ownership states in the country.
Do we have the most?
That's only because of New York City.
We have still 2,600 something murders.
But because we're the lowest gun ownership in the country, we have one of the lowest suicide rates. By guns.
Oh wow!
No one ever talks about that
because we have so many bridges.
We got
he has a point.
We got a bunch of calls coming in.
Yeah.
So
Z's popular,
right? So we're gonna.
I wanted to ask, what does it mean, stronger rent laws for tenants?
So basically, what happens is we have a really messed up system. So when you're a tenant, and if the landlord can push you out, they get a decontrol bonus. So if the landlord says, Esty, let me make your life miserable for you, and the reward is after they kick you out, they can actually get 20%, and they can even add on to that. So a lot of tenants are actually being harassed to move out of their apartment. So that's one of the things we want to work on. We don't want to reward landlords for kicking you out.
I agree with you on that, but what
So
about
you can't charge
tenants?
more?
What about tenants that don't pay rent? Why is it taking 6 or 8 months for
Yeah.
them to?
If that.
Well, that
Your
took 2 years
judges,
to get them out.
your judges are torturing the landlords. I understand not to harass them, but if they're not paying their rent, they should be asked to leave.
Very quickly.
Exactly. And actually, I handle contract and property rights. So that's what I've been doing for 30 years. So yes, if you have a contract, that contract should be enforced. So yes, if you're not paying your rent and the landlord has not been doing strange things like cutting off your hot water, or now they
Which
cut
most
off
don't.
your cold water,
Right.
or something like that. But most don't. But as long as there's no other issue, the housing court should move a lot quicker.
I had people who broke into a house.
Everything in the city should move quicker.
I had guys who were squatters in a house. They got evicted after 6 months. The landlord closed up the building, didn't watch it. They broke back in, turned on the water in the street themselves, and the cops said, well, too bad, more than 30 days, you have to start all over again.
Oh, my gosh.
And the judges are agreeing with these people.
because the tenants have all the rights in the city.
See, that's a problem for me, that the judges are letting
There's
the
no
system
balance.
move slow.
Well, it's unfortunate. Nobody like it's a famous saying that what's the famous saying is about slow justice is justice denied.
Wow.
Oh,
Esty, we got a bunch of people on the calls. We got to take a few of them.
It's all for Z and Esty.
No, for you, Blake. Stop pushing buttons, Esty. Start with 5, go 1, 2. Come on, go with or whatever.
Hello, you're on the air with Uncle Heshy, Esty, and Z, and
Blake Morris.
Hello?
Yes.
I'm on the air?
Yep.
All right, I just want to wish Blake good luck.
Well, thank you. What's your name? Your first name? Jay?
Jack.
Oh, Jack. Hi. Well, thank you, Jack.
All right, I just want to wish you good luck jumping into politics. I don't know from the vote for you, but I'm still, wishing you good luck, whatever happens.
Thank you, Jake.
Thanks, courage.
Jake, if you live in my district, don't forget District Leader, 48th District, Heshy Tishler, Havel Tishler.
I'm thinking about that. I'm still deciding. We'll see what happens.
Okay. Well,
whoever puts out a nicer poster, we'll see. You were
That's how most people vote for this.
Well, Jack, what if Heshy puts you on the radio?
But I do have a message for Heshy from a really special Yid.
Go ahead.
And the message is, smell the coffee, baby.
Oh, God. Okay, bye-bye, Jack.
Okay, next.
Let's go. Next,
Got a lot of callers,
let's go. Take line 2. Take line 1. You're on the air with... Oh, you lost to Esty. You pushed the wrong button, Esty. Yaakov, you're on the air with Heshy Z and Blake Morris and Esty.
Hello, is this Yaakov? You got me?
Yeah, I got you, Yaakov. Go ahead.
Okay, 2 fast things. Number 1, Ocean Parkway. I used to ride a bike a lot, around town and out of town. Ocean Parkway is dangerous for bikes. I always take the one-way, like East 18th or the 16th, and because if a car turns off Ocean Parkway every block, when you're coming off those little sidewalk things on the side, it's very dangerous. That's one thing. Always take the one-way side streets if you're walking on a bike. Never go on Ocean Parkway. Another thing I wanted to point out that a lot of people don't know.
The speed straight doesn't affect that when you're turning.
Go ahead. Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead, Yaakov. Finish up.
The other thing is that people don't know, a lot of people don't know that in New York City, even though we cannot carry guns, on premises, if you are a landlord, on premises of your own house, or a tenant who has written permission from a landlord, go to nyc.gov, you can have a long gun on your premises, in your house. And of course, you should have training and a good gun safe. But people don't realize that any landlord, not the projects, and not if you're absent, but if you're on a landlord on premises or a tenant with written permission, can have a long gun in the house.
Okay,
I never knew that.
No problem. You have any question for Blake or me or anybody?
Well, not really. I just wanted to point those 2 things out.
Do you feel that if traffic was moving slower, that people will be turning much slower when they come off of the lane? Because you have to slow down to the same speed, whether you're going 30, 40, 20. I mean, how big of a difference does that make for the people turning onto the sides? And I know what you're talking about, and they stopped letting people turn on most blocks now. You can't even make a right turn on every other block on Ocean Parkway.
Well, that's good. I didn't know that. That's good. Okay, yeah.
But all it does is make traffic worse because everyone just goes to the next block and then it's a backup there. It doesn't. That's what I'm saying. Everyone has these solutions, but they don't actually think about it in like the real world implementation. It sounds great.
Very good.
Hire Z.
I agree with Z, and I have ideas on that. Thank you, Yaakov, for your call. Esty, take the next caller.
I live right there, so
You're on. Let's push the button. You're on the air with Heshy, Blake, Z, and Esty. How are you?
Hello.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Hi, how are you doing? Hi, guys. What's going on?
Go
What's
ahead.
up?
What's
Hi.
happening?
So I got a question for Blake and maybe a follow-up. Question is, if anything President Trump has done till now, is there anything you could compliment him on? Anything you can support or approve?
I think it's my same answer as before. I'm gonna allow Mr. Mueller to do my talking for me, and I'm really focused.
No, that wasn't the question. That wasn't the question.
That is the answer. That's the answer.
I didn't ask you about an investigation. I asked you collusion. He's done many things. Robert Mueller isn't investigating him on every single thing he's done and since he's entered office.
But we can't.
I'm not going to comment. I'm not going to comment on stuff that's happening in Washington because there's so much stuff happening in the state Senate and the state legislature about housing, healthcare, the MTA, insurance, the environment. So to raise the minimum wage to $15 for all workers now. So I don't want to distract because you'll have national
between Washington and the state, and people should know if you're able to recognize something that works.
But there are states
from somewhere else that it works.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I didn't catch your first name.
My name is Heiko.
Heiko. So I really want to focus on New York State and the state Senate because there's not enough focus on those issues. We definitely want to restore our speed safety camera law. We definitely want to have single payer universal health care.
Tell us about your health care. Yes. Tell me, I'm having a problem with health care.
Yeah, of course you are.
So tell me, help me. Can you help me, please? I'm in trouble.
But that's a national issue.
No, it's not.
It's actually a state issue too. So we can have.
Thank you, caller. By the way,
thank you. That was good.
Go ahead. Tell me, help me because I can't afford. I'm in trouble and I don't know what to do.
Of course you're in trouble. Actually, you were in trouble before that.
I can't.
Yeah, exactly. Because there are so many people that are just one illness away from bankruptcy. People are one illness away from having their house foreclosed. And that's not the way people should live their lives. That you're one illness away from a financial catastrophe.
What about making health insurances non-profit? Because why are people profiting off people's suffering?
Well, exactly. Well, actually, with single payer universal health care would actually make health insurance redundant. So we're going to kick out the middleman from healthcare, so that we'd save a lot of money not having to pay dividends to shareholders, not having to pay federal taxes to Washington, not having to pay executive salaries. So basically, you have a huge, vast savings would happen overnight. The state would have a payroll tax. 94% of all New Yorkers would spend dramatically less money for healthcare, and everyone would be covered.
Amazing. Can we do it just for New York or everywhere?
No, it would just be for New York, and New York.
Who pays for it?
Well, we would actually pay for it, and we would pay a lot less for it. So, because basically the healthcare costs would probably drop 30 to 45%.
30 to 45%.
Where's all this money coming from?
The money would come from a payroll tax, an 8% payroll tax.
But then won't those companies raise the prices and all their stuff to go up? I mean, there's a reason why we don't just do this.
The reason is special interest, and that's why Senator Felder gets $430,000.
Yeah, but if you start taxing companies in New York at a higher rate than everywhere else, they're going to leave, and you're not going to have any money for the program.
But these same companies are already supplying their employees health care. So having a payroll tax is actually less costly than actually the healthcare insurance premium.
I don't really know the numbers to argue. I don't know, but generally this stuff all sounds good in theory, but when you actually do the math.
Well, actually, they did the math. The report just came out last week, and they did a comprehensive report, and you're shocked to find out that it's a vast savings.
I would be very shocked.
Can I ask you a random question?
Because I heard universal health care for this country.
Only a random question.
$30 trillion is what universal health care for the United States would cost. But that's what everybody wants, universal health care, except we can't pay for it. Small problem.
Well, actually, every other industrialized developed country seems to have solved this problem.
Yeah, but they don't have this exact same country and population and issues that we have. I mean,
They actually have they have a lot sicker
I feel like
population.
everyone will be able to
And-
afford it.
yes.
It'll be so cheap because it'll be a non-profit. They're not trying to make money off of people. Like,
Mhm.
oh, you give
Do
money
you want
just
to
in
pay
case.
double to your taxes?
No. It would be people would
I'm
pay.
asking you, do you want to pay double
Well,
your
90
taxes?
Why would that have to do with anything?
Because I'm not even going to answer that.
94% of people would actually pay way less.
That
And
means
so people-
everyone can afford to
in the
pay
whole
for their
country?
own.
Yes.
In the
In
whole
New York.
country, people would pay
In
less
New York, but
taxes.
this is a New York State.
If it's a
proposal.
non-profit,
I'm
and
talking
nobody's
about in
making money,
general for the country.
Well, we're talking about New
New
York
York,
State.
right? Okay, I wanted to
I
ask
don't
you:
know.
are you
Z-
pro?
I
Z-
follow
we don't
American
know.
politics.
Z,
I don't know
Z,
anything
Z,
about
we're
it.
doing Ocean
just-
Parkway, and we're doing New York State.
I wanted to
Oh
ask
man,
you.
stop.
Yeah.
Esty, go.
Okay, fine, thank you.
Is this
Okay.
random?
It's sort of random.
What are your
Okay,
thoughts on the
so
Mets?
I'm very
Yeah.
no. It has to do with health a little bit. I want to know: are you pro people being able to like sell their organs while they're alive, or instead of like when people die, instead of having to buy health insurance, they can donate parts of their body to science and
They
they will
already
get paid for it, and so their families can be supported because there's no such thing as a black market anymore, and there's no reason
There
why
is.
people can't get paid for that. You have an extra kidney. And the insurance companies would pay for it, and it's so much cheaper than dialysis. There's literally nothing to lose and everything to gain. People will have more money, more lives are saved.
Can I
There's no
answer for you?
downside.
Do you
Would you
mind?
do that? No, you cannot.
Let Blaze do it.
Go ahead.
Well, first, I want to say that was not a random question. That was an excellent question.
Thank you.
That was a really good question.
It was random, though.
But-
We're running out of time, and I have another
but
point.
excellent. So the answer to that question is we need to find a way to encourage more people to consensually give their organs so that we can have these transplants.
Wait, but why can't I sell it? I
Well,
want
no,
to sell
that
my
might-
organ.
That might be the answer. I don't know what the answer
Oh.
is.
Can I
But
answer?
I certainly like the concept that we certainly want to be
Can
able
I answer?
to incentivize people to allow their organs to be harvested, especially after
Not-
their death.
No, or while they're alive. If I want to donate my kidney right now, why shouldn't I get paid for it? I will make money and someone's life will be saved. Both of our problems will be solved.
There might be a moral hazard there.
It can,
No, go for it. Tell me the
it's
moral
the same.
hazard.
It's the same answer that pretty much answers all these pie in the sky ideas.
Okay, yeah.
Is that people forget that in the world there's bad people that do bad things.
Right, so about
And
the whole
once you
black market
start
thing,
putting
it's not.
money on people's things and organs and lives,
Mhm.
all of a sudden lots of weird things happen. Where all of a sudden people are starting offering you money for parts, and then people are going to start killing people because they know that they can.
Really, you're just
going
going to bring, here's a kidney, can you put it in my body?
Literally.
They're not going to accept that. It's a hospital. They'll be like, hi,
Literally.
you are person
But
A. I'm
just
going to take
telling
yours
you,
from yours. What do you mean? Wait, someone's just going to be like, here's
Okay,
a heart.
guys.
Give me
people
money.
are going to
It'll
start
be
offering.
official. There'll be a process.
People are going to
The
start
insurance company-
offering other people's parts. Oh, he
You
agreed
can't-
to it. It's my child. Well,
Okay,
it
and
gets
Child, other people, like, how is that possible?
Very
Hello.
messy. You
One
don't
at
want
a
to get
time.
money involved with
See,
people's body
one
parts.
at a time. We're
That's the
coming
end
to
of the
None of
day.
those are actual concerns.
Literally, that's the
Guys,
main
we're
concern.
coming to the end of the show,
Wow.
so we're going to take
No,
one more.
it can't be the end. It
We're
can't be
coming,
the end.
we're coming to the end of the show. We're going to take another call, and then I have a serious question for him that I want him to answer. Esty, take the call.
Hello, you're on the air?
Yes, hi. What's his opinion on bus lanes? I know it's a disaster coming on Kings Highway.
Disaster.
So are you talking about bus lanes in general, caller?
No,
Or
no,
just-
no,
just-
no.
or just the SPS on Kings Highway.
SBS cutting out lanes. They did on Flatbush
That's
Avenue,
insane.
Utica Avenue. It's terrible. It backs up all the traffic.
I don't
Flatbush
get what
Avenue
they're
is a disaster
thinking.
now.
Do the people
Exactly.
that make the laws actually live here and know what
And
they're
caller,
doing?
what's your first name before you hang up?
Mike?
Mike.
Brooklyn?
Mike from Brooklyn.
Thank you, Mike.
Mike. Thank you, Mike.
Thank you, Hershey.
So I actually have gone. I actually went and attended the SBS protest a couple of months ago down on Kings Highway, and then I did the research, and there it really is a solution. The solution is that when the bus is coming west down Kings Highway and it gets into the commercial street when it crosses over Ocean Avenue, it doesn't have to make the jog on Kings Highway. It could stay on Avenue P. Avenue P is 4 lanes and it's wide, and when it gets to because the main destination for the riders is really the Brighton Line Kings Highway subway station. Well, though that's all MTA property, the platforms almost come to Avenue P.
Yeah.
We could extend those platforms, put exits or entrances there. The riders never have to go to Kings Highway. There's a local bus that already runs on Kings Highway, so local bus riders have their bus route, and then the SBS can stay on Avenue P, and we can do the transfer, and they can actually transfer to the subway right
Good.
there.
That's the best idea
Win-win
I've heard
ever.
tonight.
I like that idea.
I like
Now,
it.
guys, one more thing. One
I
thing.
like it.
Immigration. Do you believe that they could be picking up people, arresting them just because they're illegal immigrants, or just because they? Tell me about that. What do you quickly? You got
Oh, that's easy. So again,
ICE. I hate ICE.
so So that's easy for me because one, I don't like to talk about national politics because people do not pay enough attention to state politics. I am Mr. State Politics guy. And two is the issue that if you're going to have a law, you should enforce it. So you have to have integrity of the laws. So now I also understand people have a concern that they don't like the law. So if you don't like the law,
You vote people in.
go vote, go get your congressman. I mean, even though I want to be here all the time, but go get some Congress candidates or congressional candidates and
You
come
don't
to
get
your
mad at the
show
people that enforce the law
and
but
talk
enjoy their
about
job.
this. And if you want the law changed, have Congress change the law.
Well, everybody, thank you. It's a wonderful show. Blake, thank you for coming to our show. ZST, you were wonderful again tonight.
Do we have another hour? Can we put another hour here?
Guys, I got to thank my advertisers. Green Line Building Solutions, 54th and 16th Borough Park. Thank you, China Glad. Thank you, Alcadia. Thank you, Change Pain. Thank you,
Pescata.
Pescata. Oh, of course, the two Pescatas who gives us delicious meals. And thank you, Chamula Jewelers. You're all wonderful. And Tehila Tishler, don't forget her wonderful girl. And I have to say her number, of course, because I love her so much. 718-675-6842. And everybody, come back again next week, 9 o'clock, Monday night. Listen to the Just Enough Heshy. Facebook, YouTube. Click my link. We love you all. Thanks a lot, guys. I had a great time.
Right, thank you.
Opportunity.
Uncle Heshy.
The preceding program is a paid advertisement. The opinions and views expressed therein do not necessarily reflect those.
Спонсор точного времени Мурат Бердыев.
Лицензированный адвокат в штатах Нью-Йорк и Нью-Джерси. Мурат Бердыев.